Okay, I'm going to probably address a third of you that Taylor tells me are new to the student vote program. And I'm going to tell you the process that we were involved in. As Taylor may have mentioned, I was involved since the very beginning as well. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I teach at a school that's JK to 8, and we involve students from grade 4 to 8 in the student vote program, and we always have. And there's a benefit to that in that by the time students are in grade 8, they've gone through many elections and they actually expect it to happen, and they're coming to me and saying, Mrs. Curtis, it's time, let's get on it. Just to let you know a little bit about myself too, at our annual assemblies where kids in grade 8 get to make fun of their teachers and they stand up and talk about Mrs. LeDrew's stiletto heels and how Mr. Farwell likes the Pittsburgh Penguins, they put on a skit about me where the Prime Minister called me and asked me if I wanted to be the Governor General. So that's who I am. So when student vote started and we got the email, I actually thought it was a gift for my students. I was a grade 5 teacher at the time, and I thought, beautiful. It's something that I would probably do myself. All the materials are coming to me, and I didn't have to do that much work. Like Vivian, I signed up immediately. I didn't ask anybody. I just said, yes, we're doing it. And I took it on as kind of a track and field day that another teacher might take on. I looked at it as a school activity that I would do all the organizing, yes, but everybody would be involved, and here's what they had to do. I did everything I could to make it as easy for everyone, and especially the staff, as I could. I took it upon myself with my grade 5 students at the time to create a grid. We looked at all the media sources, and we put the political parties with the issues and the candidates, and we looked at it in depth since the curriculum expectations for grade 5 have to do with the electoral process. And I took that grid and then I shared it with all the teachers and with other students just to make it that much easier, just to say, you know, I'll do all the work. Here's what you can do, you don't have to do, but on election day, I really hope that you will participate. Now, the evolution of what's been happening at our school, we've been involved in this for 8 years, is that the teachers now are so involved that we have all found a way to include it in our other areas of the curriculum, in the media literacy, oral and visual communication. Everybody is not only using the resources that Student Vote sends around that are absolutely fabulous, but we're using them for our own purposes. We are involved in TLCP. I'm speaking the teacher language up here, right? And we have put the federal election in our TLCP process for this month. Also, with the new standardized report card that came out, how we're all supposed to make personalized comments, we all agreed that this student vote is a wonderful, wonderful way to make a personalized comment that separates other schools from the schools that are involved in student vote. Especially, we just went through the municipal election, and I definitely included it on my last report card. So now, from the grid that we started with, and everybody just sort of spent one day, maybe one class, looking at the grid, discussing the candidates and some of the issues. We have bulletin boards that highlight the ridings. We have debates, mock debates with the older grades. We have students that make campaign speeches as if they are candidates themselves. We have posters all over the school. We have placards. Everybody from grade 4 to 8 is involved. And actually, now we have students from teachers from JK up asking for those grids that we still make in my class, just so that they can be informed about some of the issues. Our election day is run a little different than Vivian's in that we involve the community in our election day. And the reason why we always have is because of logistics. I couldn't get out of my class for a whole afternoon, and there was no way that I was going to be allowed to call a supply teacher. So instead, I called parent volunteers at the beginning, and now we've extended it for this election coming up in 2 weeks. The people who are going to staff our polling station are a well-known grandmother in our school, affectionately known as Nanny to everyone. The crossing guard is coming in to work. The lunch supervisors are going to work for us. And they're all very delighted to share their time, and they're really impressed with the fact that these kids are doing as much. They see the posters around the school. They see the kids talking about the issues and practicing in the halls. So that's what we do. The reason why we do that is it sets up a seriousness. It sets up, much like Vivian, we try to emulate the whole process. And when a student goes to a parent or a grandmother and that person is holding the voting list and they give their information and they have their name crossed off and the ballot is given to them, there is no fooling around. It's a very, very serious process, and I believe these students see themselves as voters in that moment, and they are very, very delighted to do it. Just other things that I wanted to add, especially for those who are just starting out. I think the biggest thing that you can do is be enthusiastic with your staff first, because they're the people that are going to spend the time in the classes. I think you can, start the talk in the staff room having to do with some of these political issues rather than recipes and dogs and things like that. You can get the kids involved when you're out on yard duty. Ask them, has your class talked about some of the issues? Do you know who the candidates are? Have you seen the signs? And pretty soon it all turns around with all the kids coming in to tell you, I saw this person's sign, I saw this commercial, I met this candidate because he came to my house, and here's the brochure that he brought, and I thought you would want to see it. So it really all turns around, especially with the evolution of student vote in your school as you go through year by year. So it's really worth it to start at the beginning, start small, and build, and it will build. Just other things, just a few warnings from all the years of experience that I've had. Make sure you are nonpartisan. Make sure you don't invite one candidate into your school without inviting the others, especially in elementary school. In my case, a girl in my class, her neighbor was the mayoral candidate, and he called and said, she's bugging me, can I come in? And we thought, no, absolutely not. Come in at Christmas and read a nice story to them, but not during the municipal election. Just make sure you're very well organized and keep everything positive and enthusiastic. Make sure you have your pencil sharpened. Make sure everything is booked, your polling station, whether it's the library or the cafeteria. Get the tea and coffee for Nanny, and make sure you have a very good day on that day so that other kids will go home, tell their parents what a very positive experience it is. Thank you.